Hi and welcome to this tutorial. I'm going to be using a really simple sketch today, and it comes out of my little sketchbook. This sketchbook is one that I've kept for quite a while. I copy sketches that I find online and just draw them out for myself. I make sketches out of cards that I see and like, or sometimes off of my own cards. The one we're going to use today is really simple. It's the one on the bottom of this page. It has a piece of pattern paper across the top section, a little bit of ribbon across it, a round embellishment, and a sentiment at the bottom. Very simple card. These are some round embellishments that I came up with. Got some flowers here made with store-bought flowers and layered, and they have a brad stabbed through them, and that brad happens to also be a flower. And here we have some stamped flowers. These are stamped and colored and cut out. They were colored first. I always recommend coloring before you cut out so you don't waste your time if you mess up the coloring, like I do sometimes. This uses a round punch and a scalloped punch nested inside each other, and I'm using stickers on these, so those who don't like to color and stamp can use stickers. And then this little guy is for the advanced card makers using layers. I stamped this little guy twice. The top layer has just his head and his wings cut out, and the bottom layer has his whole body cut out. And I used a little dimensional adhesive, which you can see in the upper left of the screen, to make the top pop. And I also added some glossy accents to his eyeballs, which I love glossy accents. Those of you who know me know I love my little shimmer. So those are the pieces we're using. This is the adhesive that I'm recommending you use today for this, for beginner card makers especially. It's called Tombow Mono Runner. And here I have some pattern papers that I'm going to be using for the cards that I'm making. Let's make that card already. Enough blathering. Okay, so you're going to take a piece of letter size cardstock, you're going to cut it in half, and then fold that in half again. So you're going to end up with a piece that's 5.5 by 8.5, and then the card will be 4.25 by 5.5. Normally I tell you to stamp the sentiment after gluing, but due to other circumstances I had the stamp inked up, so I already did it. This is the pattern paper that's already cut to the 5.5 by 3.5 measure. If your stamp or your sentiment at the bottom is larger, you can always make your pattern paper smaller and adapt the sketch. And this is the Tombow Runner. I wanted to show you how that works. Just run it along the edges of the pattern paper that you're attaching on all the sides so it holds down really well. And you lay it across the card, line it up, and press it down, burnish it nicely so it will stick well. And then you run a little bit of the adhesive along the edge of that pattern paper, because that's where you're going to stick your ribbon. And you can use any different kind of ribbon that you like. I happen to be a big fan of black and white. And then trim off the edges of your ribbon to match the edge of the card. Now we're going to stick the embellishment on, this time with dimensional adhesive. I just am snipping off a little tiny piece of it, well, not tiny, but a piece that has sticky on one side, and put the sticky side down, peel off the backing, and adhere it to the card. It's very easy adhesive. And the card is done. How about that? Now we're going to make that owl card. Pretty similar process in putting it together. You have your folded in half cardstock, and this time I'm using a craft paper instead of the pattern paper. Nice simple paper because I've got a complex little embellishment. And here you can see how much of the adhesive I use. I'm pretty generous with it because these cards are going to Iraq and Afghanistan. So I burnish them down really well. And I run a little more adhesive along the edge of that paper so that I can attach the ribbon to it. And once again I will cut off the edges after adhering that ribbon on there. And now we have our little owl, and there I was putting on a little bit of the Tombow Runner on the top and the bottom especially, because you want to adhere paper to paper. It works a lot better than adhering the paper to the ribbon. Now I could put the sentiment down below like I did on the other cards, but on this one in particular, since the paper is all just craft paper. I'm going to put the sentiment above it, the I love you, so he's looking up at the little sentiment since there is space up there. And there you go, another card down. Now here's some other sample cards using this sketch. This particular one uses a piece of purple regular paper instead of ribbon because I didn't have any purple ribbon, so you don't even have to buy ribbon. And this one uses a piece of ribbon along with the striped paper for the background, and that matches really nicely with the flower, which I actually did adhere using the dimensional adhesive again. These flowers were ones that were stamped and cut out, and I put the embellishment on, and then I added the sentiment in the blank space on the really plain part of the card up at the top. But I could have also put it down at the bottom and left the top really plain, as I did in this one. Put the sentiment down at the bottom, and it just allows that yellow color to sing. I absolutely love yellow. It's my favorite color. So lots of my cards have yellow in them. And so here we have our little owl card, all finished and ready to go. He just looks so cute looking up at his little I love you, thinking about the one he loves. And this is our little bug card. I think this is going to be great for some mom or dad to send to their little kid. And here's a little bonus. I added some stitching, some faux stitching. I just did it with a pen and drew around the edges of that circle. And you can see that it doesn't have to be perfect because it's supposed to look like stitching anyway. It's just a little way to add a bit of fun to the card. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching my video. I'll be making a few more of these, so you may want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is right there on your screen. You can visit my blog, follow me on Twitter, or better yet, check us out at cardsforheroes.org and help a hero keep in touch with home. You can make cards for deployed service members to write home on, and what a fantastic way to say thank you to them for all that they do for each one of us every day. Have a great day!